Hey, sixth graders. I'm talking to cohort A. Okay, so today don't have a ton, but you have a kind of a lot. So I guess that's how I would put it. All right, so today we're gonna reminder about better habits. We're gonna do a review Kahoot at 9:30 today. Okay, so I want everyone to show up, cohort A and cohort B, so that we all do the Kahoot together. So everyone, wake up, be up, and let's get to that Kahoot at 9:30. Okay, and then everyone will have done some review. So we should have a full boat. And we don't do that, but today we're going to. We're going to study for a test, or I'm going to tell you how to study for a test, and then Monday is a test for everyone. All right, I'm going to talk about that today. So hold your questions. All right. First off, again, if you are doing things right, then you are up at this point, and you're looking at this around 9:15. That's important. You got to get those schedules in. If you're sleeping in, if you're looking at this at noon, probably not a good idea. And I bet if you're looking at this at noon, and that was your schedule, you didn't do that well in trimester one. Time to flip the script on this stuff. All right, don't go to the calendar. Try not to go to the upcoming. Actually, try to go to your schedule and go into the Schoology class and go to the folders. That's how you set good patterns. Okay, if you just go to the calendar and click, 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 do you really know what's going on? Okay. And then lastly, get rid of as many distractions as possible. So right now, if you are in a room with other people, if there's a place to go, and I'm not sure there is, but if there is, then go that place and get away from everyone. Okay, and lastly, some of you have a chance to redeem yourself still. Today's the 11th, 16th is the last day. A few of you have turned in some work kind of as you go, and I'm impressed by that. So I would say, like, for sure, like, keep rolling and keep getting on top of your stuff. And I honestly, like, some of you can pull a victory from the jaws of defeat just by getting your work in. Okay, so I mentioned a test, and all of you are going, test. Okay, so here's my answer to this question. Oh, Mr. Slaby, why do we have to have a test? Okay, here's the thing, guys, we need tests, right? We need a display and a performance of our learning. It's like school isn't that different than sports or activities. Like, you don't just dance or go to dance, you have a recital. You don't just learn the piano just to learn the piano. Eventually, you have to perform in front of someone. Same thing with sports, right? You don't just practice, you practice so that you play a game. Everything is a performance at its end. And it's really about, like, showing you, like, how effective you were at picking up the skills. So, like, honestly, like, I kind of look at it this way. A test is a here's what test. Like, here's what I did. Here's me putting together everything that we did up until now. Okay, it's a display and a performance. Number two, it's also a reveal of our weak spots so we can target better strategies. Basically, if I take a test and I have some wrong, then it's a sort of like, okay, now what? What do I have to do next? What do I have to do to correct, to learn? We learn so much when we screw up that it definitely outweighs what we learn when we get it perfect. In fact, we don't really learn when we're perfect. We just showed that we learned everything. It's when we actually admit that we don't know it all, that's when we open ourselves to real learning. Three is an application for our learning. So here's the thing. You did a bunch of stuff. You did a bunch of skills. It's got to have purpose, right? There's a reason why you're learning it, and that's the so what. The test is the application of those skills. So if I'm teaching you figurative language, you will use these the rest of your life. You will read them the rest of your life, but we need an immediate game time to sort of prove that like what you learned and you applied it. So it's those so what. Why do we learn this stuff? So that you can show that you can learn it. Okay. So here's what the test is going to look like. There's two choices. It's option A or option B. They're kind of there so that we can have a bunch of people have choices. Option A is a true application of all the forms of figurative language. So you're going to write a short story that makes sense. Now, don't start working on this because you don't know the directions yet. But that's the thing, is it's about a page of writing. It should be a sit down. I'm not going to have you edit it, but I just want to see that you can write out, like, a story, and it's going to take some heavy thinking because you're going to be like, okay, do I have enough personification here? And you're going to have to look, oh, do I have enough hyperbole? And it has to make sense. You can't just go blah, 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 blah. If this is a story that doesn't make sense, then you haven't really applied this, because what's the point? Listing off a bunch of examples is not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for bullet points. I'm looking for true application. So some of you could choose option A. Option B would be taking a multiple choice true, false, and short answer test, identifying and explaining all types of figurative language. Just so you know, option A is a little harder, but it's more real world. Option B isn't quite as hard and it's not quite as real world, but it will show me whether you learned this stuff or not. I need that. That's our game, right? It's our performance. And guess what? Look at the yellow. You can use your notes, but don't count on them helping you. So you don't sit there and be like, oh, I got it. It's open book. I don't have to do a thing till Monday. Probably a horrible strategy. And here's why. You got to study for tests, people. Okay? You got to study for tests. And this is what I mean. So how do you study for a test? If you really want to take your learning here and put it here, then there's a couple of strategies, and I'm going to give you mine. First of all, rewrite all important definitions you have studied. So think about this sheet right here, right? This one right here. Oops, sorry, this one. Let's go to this one. This one is all of your notes, okay? It's all of your notes. The problem is it's all of your notes, but they're just there. So if you just copied, then you didn't really learn. You just copied, right? So here's what I would say is take these and rewrite everything. So make a new sheet and write these by hand. Don't copy and paste. That doesn't do anything. Writing by hand takes stuff and it puts it into your next level of brain, okay? Trust me. I've got a lot of experience with test taking. This is what worked for me in college, which is all about memorization. And I really honestly, rewriting things by hand is a physical and connecting to your brain kind of thing. Trust me on this one. Take a new piece of paper, write these out by hand. I promise you it will work for some of you. Also, for each new definition, I've given you an example. You probably have all these examples. Write out a new one on that new sheet. Write out one that you're like, oh, I'm going to make my own simile right now. I'm going to make my own metaphor. If you write out your own definition and you write out your own new example, then you're also taking that and applying it. All right. After you've done that, then take those notes, the ones you rewrote, and read through them every day, at least 2 days before the test. Probably takes you 5 minutes. So you think about this, start today, do the review, write your notes. Then tomorrow, take a look at your notes again. Then on Sunday, take a look at your notes again, and I bet you're ready for Monday, okay? Lastly, don't sit and suffer silently. Reach out to your teacher for clarification. Don't ask me to reteach you anything. If you say to me, Mr. Schlaby, can you teach me about personification? I'm probably going to direct you to the lesson because we did this already. Your responsibility is to be a learner, to soak it up, to use your brain. My job is not to be your learner. My job is to present you the opportunity to learn, and I'm doing that. So I ain't going to just sit there and answer your questions if you start with I don't get it. I need more of an effort from you to tell me what don't you get, and then I can help clarify, okay? So again, don't just use this. Don't just look at this right before the test, and don't count on just using this for the test. So if you stop right now and be like, I got this, I can just use this on Monday, boo. Ain't going to go well. And I'm going to call you out on it. Okay. So any questions? I will see you at 9:30, everyone. Otherwise, this is the rest of your time is to study for this test on Monday. This is right here, and I am right here. Okay, cool. We'll see ya.